Very good morning, students. In the previous session, we have completed electrochemistry. So today I'm going to start the second subunit in the first unit, that is batteries. So the first unit is containing electrochemistry and batteries. We have completed electrochemistry. So now I'm going to start batteries. So in this session, I'm going to explain definition of batteries, types of batteries. In types of batteries, today I'm explaining primary batteries and the secondary batteries. Example of primary battery, Leclanche cell. Example of secondary battery, lead acid batteries. Yes. So maybe everyone you are having the idea about the batteries. So whatever the batteries we are using in the mobile phones or in the wrist watches and in some electronic toys or in the car batteries. So in various places you have seen, you heard about the batteries. Yes. So let us see what is mean by the battery and what types of reactions takes place in the batteries. So here battery is a storage device used for the storage of chemical energy and for the transformation of chemical energy into electrical energy. So what is mean by the battery? Battery is nothing but it is a storage device. What it is storing? It is storing the chemical energy. And this chemical energy is converts to electrical energy while discharging process. So what is mean by the discharging process? Discharging process is nothing but during usage. While using whatever the energy is storing, that energy is converts to the electrical energy. So that is mean by the battery. So battery is nothing but it is a storage device which stores chemical energy. This chemical energy is converts to electrical energy in the discharge process. Battery is consist of group of two or more electric cells connected together electrically in series. But before that, you know what is mean by the cell. So cell is nothing but it is the combination of anode and the cathode. The cell is containing only one anode and only one cathode. These anode and cathodes are connecting with the help of voltmeter. Yes, that is cell. But in batteries, two or more than two cells are connecting in the series. That means it is containing two or more than two anodes and the cathodes in the series. Yes. So battery is nothing but it is the combination of various electrochemical cells in the series. So how battery is constructing? By arranging various electrochemical cells in the order wise. So like that we are constructing the batteries. So battery acts as a portable source of electrical energy. So everyone we know that yeah we can use anywhere the batteries. So batteries are portable. So we can use anywhere these type of batteries. So the batteries are of three types, namely primary battery, secondary battery and the fuel cells. So here primary batteries are also called as the primary cells. These are also called as non-rechargeable batteries. Primary batteries are the non-rechargeable batteries. Secondary batteries are also called as secondary cells and these are also called as rechargeable batteries. And fuel cells or these are also called as flow batteries. Yes. So these are the three types of batteries, primary battery or non-rechargeable battery or primary cells. Secondary cells are the rechargeable batteries. Fuel cells are the flow batteries. So let us see what is the non-rechargeable battery or what is primary battery. Primary battery or primary cells are the non-rechargeable batteries are nothing but those cells in which the chemical reactions occurs only once and the cell becomes dead after some time and it cannot be used again. So what is mean by the primary battery? Whatever the energy is stored in the device, that chemical energy is completely converts to the electrical energy. And after completely conversion of chemical energy to electrical energy, we cannot use such type of batteries because it is not rechargeable battery like our mobile phones. See, for example, the wristwatch batteries. The wristwatch batteries are the non-rechargeable batteries. Once it is completely discharging or once it is completely dead, we can't recharge such type of batteries. Yes, so that is the example of primary battery. So what is primary battery? The primary battery is nothing but, in this, the chemical reaction occurs only once and the cell becomes dead after some time and it cannot be used again. These batteries are used as source of direct current power. So it is used as a source of DC power, not AC power. It is used as a DC power. So example of primary batteries, dry cell. Dry cell is also called as Leclanche cell and mercury cell and primary lithium cell. Yes. So these are the examples of primary battery, dry cell or Leclanche cell, mercury cell and primary lithium cell. But in our syllabus, we are having only dry cell or the Leclanche cell. So let us see what are the requirements of the primary cell first. After that, let us see the dry cell. So it should satisfy these requirements. So let us see what are the requirements for the primary cell. It must be convenient to use. Cost of discharge should be low and standby power is desirable. So these are the basic requirements of the primary batteries or the primary cell. So now let us see how to construct dry cell and what are the reactions takes place in the dry cell. So dry cell is also called as the Leclanche cell. It consists of cylindrical zinc container that acts as the anode. So the dry cell is containing the container. What is the container here? The container is made of zinc. That zinc container is acting as the anode. A graphite rod placed in the center. Yes. So if it is the container, in this container in the middle, what we are placing? We are placing the graphite rod. That graphite rod is acting as the cathode. The space between anode and cathode is packed with a paste of ammonium chloride and zinc chloride, and the graphite rod is surrounded by the powdered MnO2 and carbon as shown in the figure. So initially what we are taking? We are taking the zinc container. The zinc container is acting as the anode, and at the center of the zinc container we are placing the cathode. What is the cathode here? Graphite rod is the cathode, and the space between graphite rod and the zinc container is filling with a paste of ammonium chloride and the zinc chloride. And the centerly we are having, at the center we are having the graphite rod. That graphite rod is coated with a manganese dioxide. So I'll give the reason why we are coating the graphite with the MnO2. Yeah, MnO2 is having high reactivity, but whereas the graphite rod is having the less reactivity. So to increase the reactivity of graphite rod, we are coating the graphite rod with a MnO2 paste. And the cell is called dry cell because the absence of any liquid phase, even the electrolyte consists of ammonium chloride, zinc chloride and manganese dioxide, to which starch is added to make a thick paste which prevent leakage. So what we are doing? So here we are taking the electrolyte which is in the paste form. What electrolyte we are using here? Ammonium chloride and zinc chloride paste we are using here, and this paste is made of starch. Yes, that means by mixing starch we are preparing the paste of zinc chloride and the ammonium chloride. And the graphite rod is fitted with a metal cap and the cylinder is sealed at the top with a pitch. So here the graphite rod, whatever the graphite rod is placed at the center, is fitted with a metal cap, and the entire cylinder is sealed at the top with a pitch. So now let us see the diagram of the dry cell. So whatever we have explained now, let us see diagrammatically. So this is the diagram. See, the outer one is the zinc electrode, that is the zinc container. But I said the zinc container is acting as the anode. At the center of the zinc container, we are placing the graphite rod. This is the graphite rod. And here the graphite rod is acting as the cathode here. The space between the graphite rod and the zinc is placing with the paste, or coating with the paste of ammonium chloride and the zinc chloride. And this graphite rod is coated with the MnO2 to increase the reactivity. And this is the cap. This is the cap. The carbon rod is covered with the cap. And this is the pitch. This is the pitch seal. And this is the negative terminal, and this is the positive terminal. And here this is the separator. The separator is present in between the zinc and the cathode, because to avoid the short circuit, we know that anode and cathode should not directly contact with each other. So to avoid the direct contact between the anode and the cathode, there is a separator between anode and the cathode. So now let us see what reactions takes place at anode and the cathode. So now we know which is acting as anode, which is acting as cathode. Zinc is acting as anode and carbon is acting as a cathode. But we know that carbon is having less reactivity. That means graphite is having less reactivity. So to increase the reactivity, we are coating graphite rod with manganese dioxide. So here manganese dioxide is reacting or participating in the reaction at cathode. So whereas zinc is participating in the reaction at anode. So here at anode, zinc is participating. So zinc is undergo oxidation at anode. So you know what is meant by the oxidation, loss of electrons or removal of electrons. So zinc is losing 2 electrons to produce Zn plus 2. Now at cathode, what is acting as cathode here? MnO2 is acting as a cathode. So 2 MnO2 plus H2O plus 2 electrons is giving rise to Mn2O3 plus 2OH minus. So we know from where MnO2 came, because MnO2 is coated on the graphite rod to increase the reactivity of graphite rod. So MnO2 is participating in the reaction. So here MnO2 is participating in the reaction in the presence of moisture in the electrolyte by gaining these 2 electrons. So here Mn2O3, remaining one oxygen and this oxygen, totally 2 oxygens, 2 hydrogens with 2 electrons to produce 2 OH minus. So these are the 2 reactions takes place at anode. So how to write the net cell reaction? Net cell reaction or overall cell reaction means by adding anode and the cathode. So if you add anode and the cathode reactions, you will get overall cell reaction. So this is the overall cell reaction. Add the 2 reactions here. By adding 2 reactions, what you will do? Adding the reactants and adding the products here. Zn plus 2MnO2 plus H2O, giving rise to Zn plus 2 Mn2O3 2OH minus. 2 electrons gets cancelled with each other. Now this is the overall cell reaction. But here the resulting OH minus ion. This is the OH minus ion. This OH minus ions are react with ammonium chloride to produce ammonia, which is not liberated as gas but immediately combines with Zn plus 2 and the Cl minus ions to form a complex salt. So what happens here? Initially the OH minus ions here. These OH minus ions are immediately reacting with the ammonium chloride. Where the ammonium chloride? In the space between anode and the cathode, there is a ammonium chloride. This ammonium chloride reacting with the OH minus ions to produce ammonia. This ammonia is not liberated in the form of gas. It is liberated in the form of liquid. This liquid immediately reacting with the Zn plus 2 and Cl minus to produce a complex salt. So here this salt is producing here, diamine dichlorozinc salt is producing due to reacting the OH minus ions with the ammonium chloride. So see here, the ammonium chloride is reacting with the 2OH minus to produce 2 moles of ammonia, chloride ions and the water molecule. And now this ammonia liquid and chloride ions are reacting with the zinc container to produce the complex salt, that is ZnNH3 taken twice Cl2. This is called diamine dichlorozinc. Yes. So this complex salt is producing, and this complex is reducing the lifetime of the zinc carbon batteries or the Leclanche cell. And this is only the responsible for the rust formation inside the battery cell. So now let us see the advantages and the disadvantages of zinc carbon battery. These cells have voltage ranging from 1.25 volts to 1.50 volts. Primary cells are used in the torches, radios, transistors, hearing aids, pacemakers, and watches, etc. And the price of the zinc carbon battery is very low. Yes, so these are the advantages of zinc carbon batteries. So now let us see what are the disadvantages. These cells does not have a long life because the acidic ammonium chloride corrodes the container even when the cell is not in use. Generally, when we are using, in that process only there is a discharging. If we are not using, there is no discharging. But here, even without using the batteries also, there is a rust formation due to reacting ammonium chloride with the OH minus ions. So due to that reason, corrosion, that means rust is forming inside the batteries. That is the disadvantage of zinc carbon battery or the Leclanche cell. So now let us see the secondary batteries, secondary cells. It is also called as accumulator batteries. These cells can be recharged by passing an electric current through them and can be used again and again. For example, mobile phone batteries. Yes. So after discharging, completely discharging also, again we can use such type of batteries by applying direct current in the opposite direction. Yes. So we can use such type of batteries again and again. Example, lead acid battery. It is also called as lead storage battery, nickel cadmium battery, lithium ion battery. But in our syllabus, we are having lead storage battery, lithium ion battery. So now let us see the lead storage battery. Secondary cells are widely used in cars, trains, motors, electric clocks, power stations, laboratories, emergency lights, telephone exchange, digital cameras, laptops, etc. So in all these cases, we are using the secondary batteries. These are reversible cells. They behave as galvanic cell while discharging and as electrolytic cell while recharging. In the discharging process, the chemical energy is converts to electrical energy. That means it is acting as the galvanic cell. But whereas in the recharging process, electrical energy converts to chemical energy. Yes. So electrical energy, chemical energy is nothing but electrolytic cell. So in the forward direction, that means in the discharging process, the cell is acting as the voltaic cell or the galvanic cell. In the backward reaction, that means in the recharging process, the cell is acting as the electrolytic cell. That means the secondary cell is acting as both galvanic cell and the electrolytic cell. To improve the performance of the battery for commercial purpose, the anodes and cathodes with very small separation to conserve space are required. Current discharge should be high at low temperature. It should have less variation in voltage during discharge. It should be have high energy efficiency. It should be reliable. It should have tolerance to shock and the temperature, etc. It should have number of charging and discharging cycles before failure of the batteries. That means the lifespan of the battery should be more for the secondary batteries. So now let us see the lead acid battery. It is also called as the acid storage battery. If a number of cells are connected in series, the arrangement is called a battery. I said already now. Yes, the battery is containing various cells in the series. The lead storage battery is one of the most common batteries that is used in the automobiles. A 12 voltage of lead storage battery is generally used, which consists of 6 cells each providing 2 voltage. Each cell consists of the lead anode and the grid of lead packed with a lead oxide as the cathode. So lead is acting as anode, lead oxide is acting as the cathode in this. These electrodes are arranging alternatively. That means the lead plates, lead oxide plates, lead plates, lead oxide plates. These are arranging in the alternative manner in the lead acid battery, and it is separated by the thin wood paste and suspended in dilute sulfuric acid, which acts as the electrolyte. That means here sulfuric acid is acting as the electrolyte here, and hence it is called the lead acid battery. So what are they here? So lead is there, lead oxide is there, lead is acting as anode, lead oxide is acting as a cathode, and sulfuric acid is acting as the electrolyte. So anode is lead, cathode is lead oxide, electrolyte is sulfuric acid, and EMF. Each cell is generating 2 voltage of power. So let us see the lead storage battery. To increase the current output of each cell, the cathode and the anode plates are joined together, keeping them in alternative positions. The cells are connected parallel to each other. Yes. So that cell is represented as lead sulfate, comma sulfuric acid, slash lead sulfate, comma lead. So here left side anode and right side cathode. Yes. So either this or this is the cell notation or cell representation of the lead acid battery. So in the process of discharging, when battery produces current, the reactants at the electrodes are as follows. So now I am explaining the reaction part for the discharging process. That means in the forward direction. So in the forward direction, lead is acting as the anode. So lead is losing 2 electrons to produce Pb plus 2. But this Pb plus 2 immediately reacting with the sulfate ions in the electrolyte to produce lead sulfate. Yes. So these two reactions are takes place at anode. So by adding these two reactions, we will get the overall reaction at anode. So Pb plus SO4 minus 2 giving rise to PbSO4 plus 2 electrons. So this is the reaction at anode. So now let us see the reaction at cathode. PbO2 plus SO4 minus 2 plus 4H plus 2 electrons. These 2 electrons are gained by the lead oxide. So we will get PbSO4 plus here 2 oxygens, 4H plus, totally 2 water molecules. So this entire reaction takes place at cathode. So now by adding anodic reaction and cathodic reaction, we will get overall reaction of the lead acid battery. Therefore, overall cell reaction is Pb plus PbO2 plus 2SO4 minus 2 plus 4H plus, giving rise to 2 PbSO4 plus 2H2. Yes. So this is the overall reaction of the lead acid battery. So during discharging process, the battery sulfuric acid is consuming, and as a result, the density of sulfuric acid falls. See here in the forward direction, sulfuric acid is consuming. But whereas in the backward reaction, what is a backward reaction? In the backward reaction, the products are converts to reactants, reactants are converts to products. That means in the backward reaction, these are the products. That means sulfuric acid again restoring in the battery in the recharging process, but in the discharging process, sulfuric acid is consuming. When it falls below 1.2 grams per cubic centimeter, the battery needs recharging process. In discharging, the cell acts as the voltaic cell where oxidation of lead occurs. That means here these are reversed in discharging process. In discharging process, anode is lead, cathode is lead oxide. But whereas in the recharging process, anode is lead oxide, cathode is the lead. So the reactions also reverse here. This is the diagram of lead acid battery. Lead plates, lead oxide plates, lead plates and lead oxide plates. In between the plates, we are keeping the insulating material to avoid the short circuit. Yes. So here it is dipping with the electrolyte, immersing in the electrolytic solution. Here electrolyte is 20 to 25% of the dilute sulfuric acid. This is acting as the electrolyte. So when we see the reaction in the backward reaction, here the products are converts to reactant. Products are converts to reactant. These reactants are converts to products. Same here also, these products are converts to reactant. These reactants are converts to products. So now by adding the overall reaction, even overall reaction also will be reversed. So during this process, lead is deposited at the cathode, lead oxide is formed at the anode, and sulfuric acid is again regenerated in the cell. Yes, so that is lead acid battery or acid storage battery. So maybe you are understanding that how why we are calling lead acid battery as acid storage battery, because acid is storing in the recharging process. So it is called as the acid storage battery. So now let us see what are the advantages and the disadvantages. Advantages are lead acid batteries are used for supplying current to railway, mines, laboratories, hospitals, automobiles, power stations, telephone exchange, gas engine ignition, UPS. Other advantages are in the rechargeability, portability, and it is relatively constant potential and the low cost. So all these are the advantages of the acid storage battery. But disadvantages are use of concentrated sulfuric acid is dangerous. Use of lead acid battery is fragile. Yes. So this is today's class. In the next class, I will explain you the lithium ion batteries.